This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross abuse.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Sherry Queens Libaima, and here are the news making the headlines. Children's Day, Soyinka calls for quality education for children. France and Rwanda strengthen relations, increase cooperation. Open the Skies Treaty, the United States tells Russia it will not rejoin key arms control deal. Naira slips to 490 per dollar at parallel market. CBN plans to introduce digital currency. On sports, Real Madrid beat legend Zidane farewell. Do stay with us after this very short break. I'll bring you the news in full. Do not go nowhere. You're welcome back, and now it's news in full. On Children's Day, Soyinka calls for quality education for children. Professor Wole Soyinka has called on the federal government to improve the standard of education in the country towards a brighter future and growth of the Nigerian children. Soyinka stated this during the Children's Day celebration in Wasimi, Ewekoro local government area of the state. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that the program was organized by Segun Adegbami International College and Sports Academy, Wasimi. The Noble Laureate, while addressing the students of the school, called on the government at all levels not to sit back but work harder to make education more accessible and attractive to Nigerian children. He added that education remains the bedrock of any developed nation. Soyinka advised the students to focus and concentrate on their studies, saying that they were the potential leaders of tomorrow. He urged them to always respect the culture and never discriminate against anyone irrespective of the tribe, religion, or ethnic group. Soyinka said such a gesture would continue to promote togetherness, unity, and progress of the nation. And now, moving forward, 20 generals may go as Buhari appoints Farouk Yahaya as new Chief of Staff Officer. President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Major General Farouk Yahaya as the new Chief of Army Staff, with about 20 generals of the regular course 35 and 36 expected to proceed on retirement. The new Army Chief, who was appointed to replace the late Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, who died in a plane crash in Kaduna alongside 10 other military officers, is of regular course 37. The tradition in the military for senior officers to take a bow whenever a junior officer is appointed as the COAS, as they cannot be saluting their junior officer. Major General Yahaya's appointment right from the position of brigade commander to that of theater commander, operation and Hadin Kai were made by the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Ratai, retired, with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, being a regular course 34 intake, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awa Zubairu Gambo, and Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amal, both being regular course 35 intakes. Major General Yahaya becomes the most junior service chief as course 37. The implication is that about 20 major generals and brigadier generals made up of 5 remaining regular course 35 intake and 15 regular course 36 intake would have to give away. That is, they would have to proceed on retirement. An appointment of Yahaya as Atahiru's successor, according to sources, was delayed due to search for a competent officer. And now in another news story, rehabilitation, Lagos to short Echo Bridge for 9 weeks. The federal government, in collaboration with Lagos State government, says it would commence emergency repairs of the National Stadium bound of Echo Bridge from Constantine to Alaka, with partial closure from Friday, June 4th to Friday, August 13th, 2021. The Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Frederick Oladiende, who announced this in a statement, stated that the repairs were necessary to complete the rehabilitation works of the opposite side of the bridge earlier embarked upon by the federal government, hence the need for a notice of routes diversion. Oladiende says, pending the commencement of the rehabilitation works, alternative routes have been made available for the awareness of motorists to manage traffic during the period of repairs. As highlighted as follows, traffic from Akpogbon to Alaka Stadium, Ina Surulere or Ikorodu Road will be diverted to Echo Bridge to access Constantine Roundabout to Iponri through Alaka and Funso Williams Avenue. And now news stories coming from around Africa. France and Rwanda strengthen relations, increase cooperation. The French President Emmanuel Macron recognized France's role in the 1994 Tutsi genocide. Despite saying France was not complicit in the mass murder, he acknowledged it had ignored warnings of the impending massacre. The killers who haunted the swamps, the hills, the churches did not have the face of France. France did not understand that by wanting to hinder a regional conflict or a civil war, it was in fact standing by a genocidal regime. By ignoring the warnings of the most lucid observers, France assumed an overwhelming responsibility in a spiral that led to the worst, even though it was precisely trying to avoid it. The French president added, but France has a role, a history and a political responsibility in Rwanda. Emmanuel Macron stressed, a statement nothing short of the truth. According to his Rwandan counterpart, President Paul Kagame, this was a powerful speech with a special meaning for what is taking place now and which will resonate well beyond Rwanda. The Rwandan president said his words were something more valuable than an apology, Paul Kagame added. And our news still coming from around Africa. Volcano aggravates humanitarian crisis in DR Congo. Tens of thousands of people are fleeing to the city of Goma and nearby towns in eastern Congo, fearing another volcanic eruption by Mount Nyiragongo, which spewed lava near the city last week. A new eruption could occur at any moment. The military governor of Congo's North Kivu province, Lieutenant General Constance Ndima Kongba, announced. Crowds left the city carrying just a few belongings with them to seek shelter in Sek and other places, including neighboring country Rwanda. The crisis caused by the volcano is not the only one in DR Congo, a country hit by violence among rebel groups and armed forces that every year takes the lives of hundreds of Congolese and leaves millions displaced. Jean Ashland, Secretary General of the Norwegian Refugee Council, says the number of people who were displaced by the volcanic eruption was around 6,000 people by Wednesday. That's the number of people displaced every single day over the last 12 months because of armed conflict, and they get no attention. He spoke during his visit to Goma to release the organization's annual report about what it calls the world's most neglected crisis. According to the NRC, in 2020, the DR Congo was on the top of the list of most neglected countries suffering from displacement crisis. The NRC said it was due to overwhelming needs and acute lack of funding, as well as media and diplomatic intervention worsened by the pandemic. We'll take a very short break right now. When we get back from that break, I'll bring you news updates from the United States. Do not go nowhere. Stay with us.
June, we are having a Holy Ghost conference, and we are believing God for a great move of God.
Hi everyone, this is Sinach, and I am excited to announce that I will be with the Omega Fire Ministries in Auchi, Edo State for the Holy Ghost Conference. I want you to all come out and let's have a time with the Holy Ghost. God bless you.
Holy Ghost Conference 2021. Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman. This June.
Welcome back. Now it's update from the United States. Faith leaders continue the call for racial reckoning 1 year after George Floyd's murder. Our correspondent has the rest of the news. Please track up.
1 year after George Floyd's murder, faith leaders continue to call for racial reckoning. George Floyd's murder brought a renewed urgency to stop the epidemic of anti-black police violence and deep-rooted injustice in the U.S. justice system. 1 year ago, the death of George Floyd under the nail of a police officer galvanized the nation and eventually much of the world into months of historic protest against police brutality and system racism and in support of Black lives. Spiritual leaders were often front and center in these protests, and their clarion call not only to politicians but also to religious leaders sparked a racial reckoning within churches and synagogues. On the anniversary of his death, these leaders reflect on how much has to change and how much there is to do. A Los Angeles pastor, Stephen Q. J. Mario, who founded the Church Without Wall in Skid Row, pointed out the movement for Black lives. And Black Lives Matters has been going on for 8 years, but he believed it was an act of God that transformed it last year into the largest social movement in the U.S. and the world's history.
And that's the news from our correspondent. And now more updates from the United States. Open the Skies Treaty. The U.S. tells Russia it will not rejoin key arms control deal. The United States has told Russia it will not rejoin an arms control deal that permits unarmed aerial flights over dozens of participating countries. The State Department says the Open Skies Treaty has been undermined by Russia's violations and its failures to return to compliance. Russia denies the allegations, and the country is also expected to withdraw from the treaty this year. The accord allows short-notice flights to monitor military activity. More than 30 nations participate in the treaty, which came into force in 2002. The United States regrets that the Treaty on Open Skies has been undermined by Russia's violations, says the State Department. In concluding its review of the treaty, the United States therefore does not intend to seek to rejoin it, given Russia's failure to take any actions to return to compliance. Under Donald Trump's presidency, Washington withdrew from the treaty, as presidential candidate Joe Biden called the move short-sighted. America's announcement means only one major arms control treaty between the two nuclear power remains in place. The New START treaty sets limits on deployments of strategic nuclear warheads and delivery systems. And now news coming from the world of business. Naira slips to $4.90 per dollar at parallel market. CBN plans digital currency. The Naira exchanged to the dollar at $4.90 per dollar at the parallel market. The official exchange rate website of the Central Bank of Nigeria for the Bureau de Change operators, the country's currency was bought and sold at 4.88 Naira to 4.90 Naira to the dollar as of Thursday evening. The Naira had earlier exchanged to the dollar at 4.83 in the previous week. The CBN recently adopted the NAFEX investor and exporter forex window rate of 410.25 Naira as its official exchange rate to the dollar. It confirmed this new official rate on its website on Monday night after it had removed $3.79. It would be recalled that in April 2017, the CBN established the INE forex window as part of efforts to deepen the foreign exchange market and accommodate all forex obligations. The purpose of the window was to boost liquidity in the forex market and ensure timely execution and settlement for eligible transactions. And also, the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele has said that digital currencies have been made known and it has a place in the country. He made this known during the 279th Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Abuja. And still on business news, sugar backward integration will save Nigeria $700 million yearly, says Dangote. Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC says Nigeria will save up to $700 million of foreign exchange yearly from sugar production self-sufficiency if the government faithfully follows through the backward integration policy in the sugar industry. The chairman of Dangote Sugar Refinery, Aliko Dangote, at the company's 15th annual general meeting in Lagos says that allowing for distortions in the Sugar Master Plan framework would adversely affect the target of self-sufficiency in sugar production. He also described the backward integration policy as commendable, saying it would reduce imports of raw sugar and save the country enormous forex used for importation. Dangote told shareholders that despite the distributions in the economy occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, the company's production volume rose by 13.7% to 743,858 tons in the financial year ended December 31st, 2020, compared to 654,700 tons in 2019. He also said the company posted a group turnover of 14.3 billion naira, rather, as 33% increase over the 161.1 billion naira in 2019, while its sales volume rose by 6.9% from 684,487 tons in 2019 to 731,701 tons in 2020. Right now, it's time for a very short break. When we get back from that break, it'll be news coming from the world of sports. Do stay with us.
June, we are having a Holy Ghost conference, and we're believing God for a great move of God.
Hi everyone, this is Sinach, and I am excited to announce that I will be with the Omega Fire Ministries in Auchi, Edo State for the Holy Ghost Conference. I want you to all come out and let's have a time with the Holy Ghost. God bless you.
Holy Ghost Conference 2021. Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman. This June.
You're welcome back now to news from the world of sports. Real Madrid bid legend Zidane farewell. Zinedine Zidane has resigned as Real Madrid's manager with immediate effect, says the Spanish club, just days after they were beaten to the La Liga title by Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid said in a statement that it was now time to respect his decision and show their appreciation for his professionalism, dedication and passion all these years. They said Zidane is one of Real Madrid's great myths and his legend beyond his role as coach and player at the club. The Frenchman's departure comes at the end of a disappointing campaign for the 13th-time European champions, who also lost to Chelsea in the Champions League semi-finals as they failed to win a trophy for the first time in 11 seasons. Only 10 days ago, Zidane, who has a contract until 2022, denied press speculation he had already told his players he would be leaving at the end of the season. And now in another sports story, the Tigers to play Puerto Rico, Serbia, Belgium ahead of Olympics. African champions, the Tigers will play 3 friendlies this weekend as part of preparations for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. This was made known in a statement by the Nigerian Basketball Federation media team. According to the statement, the Tigers will face Puerto Rico, Serbia and Belgium at the Langmunte Arena in Kortrijk, Belgium. Ortiz Hughley's side will face Puerto Rico today before taking on Serbia and Belgium on Saturday and Sunday respectively. Ezine Kalu, Adara Ilonu, Promise Amu Kamara, Sarah Ogoke, Sarah Imovbio and Aisha Balarabe are among the players in the camp. And others are Odera Chidom, Amy Okonkwo, Otonye Inyigifa, Palace, Konayi, Ifi Ibekwe, Victoria Macaulay, and Nicole Enab-Bosi. The Tigers have been drawn in a tough Group B alongside hosts Japan, France, and world champions USA at the Olympics. And now we've come to the end of the news desk on Celebration TV. In case you missed the top stories, here is a recap of the headlines. On Children's Day, Soyinka calls for quality education for children. France and Rwanda strengthen relations, increase cooperation. The Open Skies Treaty, United States tells Russia it will not rejoin key arms control deal. The Naira slips to $4.90 per dollar at parallel market, and the CBN plans digital currency. On sports, Real Madrid beat legend Zidane farewell. And now it's time for the photo of the day. That photo clearly depicts that contributing to someone's downfall will always affect you in one way or the other, because we all need each other to grow. You cannot do it alone. You can share your thoughts about that photo of the day via our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Celebration TV. On Instagram, we are My Celebration TV. On Twitter, at My Celebration TV. On YouTube, Celebration TV. Always bear in mind your positive contribution to the wellness of the society you find yourself in, or the organization you work in defines your leadership mark. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed has backed his way to success. Be it known today that everything we do, think, feel and believe either has a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. Be a part of nation building today. I am Sherry Quincy Bryman. Thank you for staying tuned. Goodbye.
To 15.7 trillion naira by the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offence.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.